So when I'm sitting in front of God's people, I always got to tell them the truth.
I'm 19 keys and this is high-level conversation. Tap in with the guy.
You know, when I see this plastic waste, right, like what does it look like for the ultimate solution? See, I don't want the ultimate solution to be purely external, because I can build machines to go all over the world. I will build machines to go all over the world and to destroy all plastic waste. But what I really want is I want everybody to become aware of the power they hold within themselves, and that if I can build a machine, starting in my backyard with no degree, right, blew myself up, got back at it, right, and kept going, kept building, I want people to know that you can do that, and I want people to know that if you see a problem, that you're as capable of solving it as I am, and you're even more capable than me, right? Because if anything, now there's a path laid out. I want everybody to be aware that we're all warriors, right? Like the nature jab, we all have that fist to fight for when we see, oh, there's microplastics in children. Or we live in an age full of distractions, making us more docile. And I want you to not just see the problem, because they love that. They love for us to just see the problem because it makes us depressed. It makes us uncertain. I want you to see the problem and see that you are a part of the solution.
Now, did you say you blew yourself up?
Of course.
You're gonna let that go past, huh? Number one, I'm impressed. Mostly because of the job that you're taking on. You know, it could be a very dangerous one, right? There's a very daunting task to doing something that threatens the systems that exist, right? Because big energy, big oil, right? They don't like people stepping on their toes. Right? They might have the capability to do these things, but they're not trying to do it because they're not practicing conscious capitalism. Now, you disappeared from the internet for a minute. You understand me? You had the whole world worried about you. You understand me? What was going on and who was after you?
So I don't know exactly who was after me. You know, in time, all will be revealed. I may or I may not ever know, but I'll tell you this. It was expected, and I was ready for it. What happened... I had a few odd things happen throughout this entire year for me. What happened first in January, I was driving. I work out of Alabama, so I commute. It's about 4 hours to and from every time I want to work on the machine. Anyways, I was driving, and my car started shaking a ton. Pulled over just in time, because by the time I made it to the gas station, my driver's side wheel had one lug nut left on it. And then both of my tires had all the lug nuts loosened. That happened in January. Then in April, I was out working on my machine. I work in a very isolated location. At this time, it was never publicized online anywhere. Nobody knew. I was out there, and then a helicopter, black helicopter came out. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and it flew over me. I was like, okay, whatever. It was flying really low, though, almost at the tree line. Then it flew back around. I said, oh, okay, interesting. Then it did it again. And then it turned on a spotlight, shined it right at me, got it on video, right? And then so it circled me a total of 6 times in a very isolated area, so isolated that there's not even a hospital nearby unless you drive about 40 minutes, right? And then I went to go on a website to look, this flight radar. It tracks all helicopters, all planes. Helicopter wasn't even on there. It's illegal for a helicopter to do that unless it's CIA, military, government. Even police helicopters usually show up there. So that happened. And then come July, I had a very intense cyber attack that started. I started to get really weird signs. Like sometimes I would be texting my family members, and then they would get a text of what I sent them. Right? Or sometimes I'd be saying things out loud, and then people around me would get text of what I'm saying. And then, so then I made a video letting the world know. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but something weird is going on, so just keep your eyes open, because I didn't know what degree or to what level, whatever this force was within my things. And then all of a sudden, the cyber attack, the real cyber attack started. I realized my phone was completely tapped. phone calls, messages, phone logs, every social media, everything on my phone, iCloud, my whole iCloud, completely tapped. I figured out that somebody or some group, well, certainly a group of people, they had been in my phone since, as far as I know, at least January, just watching everything I did, every text message, every photo, every picture. I mean, could you guys imagine that? Just to know that there was literally no privacy, right? For 6 months, somebody was in there watching everything, right? And so when I realized that, I realized these people have been studying me for 6 months. They have such an immense perspective on me and my moves. But they never tried to delete or log me out of social media, despite having the capability to do so. And they started to hack my social media. They were posting my license to my social media. They're posting really private information like my address and stuff to my social media. And I would get in, kicking them out, delete the post, they keep getting back in. But once again, they never deleted my social media. So I realized, hold on. Since they've been studying me for 6 months, they want to play on that aspect. It's like chess. They know, or they're rather expecting, that I'm going to come in here, give them a whole bunch of attention on social media, make a big deal about it, and distract me. Distract my audience. Distract everybody. And I knew at that point, especially because even after I got a new phone, right? I'll tell you how intense it got. I got a new phone number. As soon as I got the new phone number, they texted me my new phone number. That's how intense it got. And I'm telling you, it's like something from a movie. There's some things I can't even really go into. Nobody would believe it. But this was certainly, I'll say it like this was certainly an interdimensional level of tact, not just on one plane. This was on every plane. So knowing that, I knew the only way I could possibly be victorious is if I break what's expected of me. And that's why I went silent on social media. Of course, my cybersecurity team is telling me, they're telling me we don't even know. We can't even pinpoint who this is, how they're doing this. I talked to Meta because they kept getting into my Instagram. Meta's telling me nobody's logging into your Instagram. Even though my driver's license was just posted a second ago, I know it wasn't me, but Meta tells me nobody. So the only way I could possibly win is if I break what they expect of me, go silent, right? Because it was all like chess. And that's what I did. And that it ultimately worked because the power of silence, it's one of the laws of power, right? Silence speaks louder than words, right? You can say so much more with silence, and it also allows things to be revealed. Silence is purifying. It's a fire. It burns. It's like isolation and seclusion, right? It's uncomfortable, but for the right reasons. And so I didn't want to do what I had to do and go silent because I didn't want the world to freak out. I know how much people in every comments on every video saying the government's gonna get you and all this. So I knew if I had just disappeared, especially after a video saying something's wrong, people are gonna freak out. But it ended up all working out because what ended up happening was I ended up making international news by doing nothing, right? And that was the exact opposite of what these people wanted. What they wanted was they wanted me to post about it, scream about it, direct people to them, take attention away from my work. You guys need to understand, these people were in my devices. They had so much information on me. They didn't try to put some type of scam to my audience. They didn't try to delete my accounts. What they wanted was the destruction of my work. They wanted distraction. That was what they wanted more than anything, and I knew that. And so I had to take that card away from them. And that goes to show that same spirit of just distraction and destruction is the same thing put against all of us. See, of course, I have, a following influence, so they're going to come after me. But what you need to understand is this same force is after all of you. It's just not pinpointed to you. It's not exploiting you, but it has the ability to, and it is on a daily level through everything, because that same destruction and distraction is happening to you internally through things like algorithms and distractive vices and comfortabilities put into this system on purpose to spiritually drain you and prevent you from making your potential energy that you hold within you kinetic, right? And so I knew that beyond all else, that's the focus, that's the mission, that I need to get back to that. And so I stayed silent, I came back, it all worked out. And as I said, when I started answering, it was expected. It's par for the course. You know, what you need to understand is when you're on any journey for greatness, you don't at all look at pain or uncomfortability or uncertain times. You don't look at those things as bad things. You look at those things as confirmation. You look at those things as good things, as a matter of fact, because you're not going to be attacked unless you're worth attacking.
That's a fact. Make some noise for that. Mother Tanetta, who was one of the wife of Elijah Muhammad, she said that silence is the first teacher, right? Silence is the first teacher. If we talk about potential, you know, silence is potential. Because as you go look into your Bible, it says in the beginning was what? The word or sound. You understand me? And that sound can be qualified as God, right? The ability to bring forth things as a force and as will. And so we now are in a time where we exist in systems that want to and that does control our minds, the way we think, and trying to overall distract our collective potential from being rulers on this planet Earth, right? Because the existing systems, if you can get focused, then you stop using those ones and you start building your own, right? And so distraction is the enemy of progress. It is the very thing that if you are the devil of this world, all you have to do is keep God's people distracted. They'll never organize. They'll never build against you. They don't have focus to manifest ideas into reality, right? And so they just need to keep you distracted and you will stay unsuccessful. Trying to figure out where the hell is all my time going. But the one thing that you can do is opt out. You can just decide not to participate so it don't matter how they run their machines.